Ladies and gentlemen, I'm James Torrillo here with Tyler Wagner of the Royals. I'm the commissioner and team captain of the Dodgers. First off, before we start the episode, Tyler, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Tyler and his brother, also on the Royals, Dylan, as we're filming this, are turning 19 today. And also a happy birthday to John Bond, the GOAT, who's also turning 19 today from the Dodgers. Speaking of you and your brother, we had an episode, you and I sitting down here talking about how if you went first overall, you'd be playing with him on the Royals.
Yeah.
And that ended up happening. So talk to us about it.
Well, as you guys can tell by the jersey, I got drafted by the Royals, first overall, of course, never a doubt. And my brother and I, there's been a lot of backlash. Most importantly, people saying stuff like bad Shaq and Kobe or whatever, which is not the case. And the whole league is put on notice now because they're gonna see what we're made out of. Haven't been in the league for a full season for a minute now. Played in the World Series, took my team all the way to Game 5 with the help of Yeager's pitching, and doing that just subbing in. So, I'm here for a whole season now. He's here for a whole season. We got Kinsel. I think there's going to be some shocking turns in the AL, and there's going to be some differences, and there's going to be some standing changes, and there's going to be a lot of other things.
All right. Okay. So now you're on the Royals. This is, gosh, how many teams have you been on now? Let's do that. Let's go over. Can you remember every team that you've been on starting from season 1? Season 1, what team are you on?
I was on the Marlins.
Season 2,
Dodgers.
Season 3,
Seagulls.
yes. Season 4, you
No,
didn't play.
I didn't play.
Season 5, you didn't play.
No.
Season 6, you came back, and
Phillies.
Season 7,
Phillies again, I think.
yes. And then Season 8, you retired.
I retired.
And then Season 9 came back.
And I was a Marlin.
Yes. And Season 10.
I was Marlin and Ray, and then now I'm a Royal. So
You've been through a lot of different teams. How many teams that you were on the Marlins? 2 different times, so we'll count that. That's one team. So you were a Marlin, a Dodger, a Seagull, a Philly, a Ray, and a Royal. So that's 6 teams. This is your 6th team of your career. You've never spent more than 2 seasons with a team, right? Because the Marlins was never 2 full seasons. The Phillies is the only team you spent 2 seasons with. So one thing, so now of course you and Dylan, 2 of the best players in the league, right? One of the things that I'd be worried about if I was a Royal, are you going to be a Royal next year? Because it's going to take a lot of free agent points to re-sign you and your brother.
yeah.
As of right now, the Royals, you guys don't have enough free agent points to re-sign both of you. So one of you is probably going to have to go. So what if you had to predict right now, what do you think would happen a year from now?
Well, a year from now, obviously, like whatever happens in the season, Dylan and I are both free agents, and the Royals only have a certain amount of free agent points, and Dylan and I are going to be high cost ones. So you mix that together, and then you end up getting, they're not going to be able to afford both of us. So I think I might be entering the draft again next year. We'll see. I think the Royals will keep Dill if he stays for the whole year. If not, and they know I'm staying for the whole year, then they'll keep me. But if Dill stays for the whole year, then they'll probably keep him, and then I'll go back into the draft. But who knows?
Another thing, your brother said during the season, the Royals, of course, did not have the best season last year. Finished 1-11, the 2nd worst record in American League history for the MLWB. At one point during the season, your brother said, if the Royals don't make the postseason, I'm out of this organization. The Royals did not make the postseason, but Dylan re-signed with the Royals this offseason. And it looks like he's going to be a Royal this season. So now I know you're not your brother, and you don't know, only he knows what's going through his head, but do you know why he changed his mind, or is it only because you became a Royal? Do you know what the situation there is?
I think a lot of it is because he knew I was going to become a Royal, and he knew that. It's so overall, it's pretty much just an experiment to see how it is. A lot of people in the league think that it's not going to work. It's going to be a bust, this and that. But I mean, me, my brother, and Zach, we just see the good things that are going to come out of it, and we know there will be good coming out of it. There will hopefully be a World Series trophy that comes out of it, because we have that talent 110% to do it. But yeah, I mean, most importantly, I think it's just Dill that he saw what it could bring and his other opportunities, and he just stuck with it to see as his best opportunity, pretty much.
So one of the things you said was if he's here for all of it. You and your brother, moving to Tennessee a few years ago, then coming back and forth, and it's not that easy to be here for the whole season. And your brother hasn't been here for a full season as a Royal yet. He was a Met season 7, then came back season 9, played for the Royals for 7 games, and then played 4 games last year for the Royals because he was coming back and forth. Are you worried about that problem happening again this year, or are you convinced your brother's going to be here for the whole season to help you guys try to win a championship?
No, I think he'll definitely be back for the full season since it's a college year. He'll be back, and he'll get done early in May. Season will start late May, so he'll definitely be back for that, and for the whole year up until everybody goes back to college in August. So the World Series will be done before that. So I mean, he'll be here for the whole season. I feel like, and obviously I'm going to be here for the whole season. So I think he'll make all 8 games, including every postseason game.
Yeah. Speaking of postseason now has 2 teams from each division making it. If anybody watching this is new to watching our channel or following our league, whatever, we have 8 teams, 4 in the NL, 4 in the AL. 2 from each division make the playoffs. It used to be 3 the last few years. So instead of 3 from each division, it's now 2. So 4 total playoff teams out of 8 teams. If you had to give us, I know, it sounds like a stupid question since you're on the team, but let's give the Royals a percentage on what their odds are to make the playoffs. What would you give it?
I mean, if you look at the AL, so apparently, with the new rule changes, we're playing everybody in we're not playing out of conference games. We're just playing in conference games this year.
Yeah.
So if you look at that and you put that into perspective, and what the AL has done and what the AL is made of, now you got my brother and I, who when he's here, he's a top player in the league, and me obviously, and then we have Kinsel. And then you look at, a team like the Rays, who are obviously stacked. Now they got Uncle Tom. And then, Yeager is really good on the mound. Eric is just a lethal force. But then you look at the Astros and the Yankees, and those are the 2 teams that are looking to make a jump and take one of our spots right now. And you got the Astros, who they just got Moser, which is a great pickup for them. And then, they got Oscar and Charlie, which, I mean, they could definitely make that leap, I feel like. It's just all going to come down to who wants it more. But then the Yankees, who got rid of Chris Castano, I mean, to be honest, I really don't see them as a threat much.
Right. That was a weird move made on draft night.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Because Chris is probably one of the most underrated players in this league. Especially when he's on. Right. So when he's off, but when he's on. So I mean, underrated, but yeah.
See, the thing about that trade, the Pirates getting Chris Castano from the Yankees. Chris Castano spent the last year and a half with the Yankees. He was traded at the deadline in 2022 from the Astros to the Yankees, finished that year as a Yankee, and then all of 2023 he was a Yankee. The last 2 years, the Yankees lost to the Rays in the postseason, and the Rays would go on to play in the World Series both years. So I think the big part of why Logan Gaffney, team captain of the Yankees, traded Chris was because, if we, it's kind of like that mentality, like if we can lose with you, we can lose without you, sort of kind of like a rebuilding kind of thing. Like in sports, let's say, for us, like the Flyers trading Giroux a few years ago, he was a great player, but they sucked that year with him. They can suck without him and, prepare for the future, which I think is kind of why Gaffney made that move, because, Chris was good and he would come up in big moments in the playoffs, but, eventually if you're in the same division as a team with Eric Scully and Dylan Yeager, which is one of the best duos in MLWB history, and then now there's a team with both Wagner brothers and Ryan Moses in the American League. Unfortunately for Yankee fans, I don't think right now is their time.
No.
And I do think they're going to make more moves before opening day. I can't see Logan going into the season with that roster with him, Molds, and Volpe. I can't see it. No disrespect to Volpe or Molds. I just can't see Logan going into opening day with that roster. But the thing is, what moves do you make?
Yeah, no, there's not really much available right now, unless you make some sort of blockbuster trade. There's really nothing available, and I don't think he has the tools right now to make that blockbuster trade. But he did it for a reason, unless he was just drunk on draft night. He did it for a reason, and he probably has something else in mind that we don't know about. But I mean, it all comes down to how it goes and what they do in the future. But I don't really see this year. I don't think the league. I mean, the Yankees used to be a semi-decent threat, but I don't really see them as a threat coming into the 2024 season.
It feels like when you think of the Yankees, you think of a bunch of good players. Like you're not even talking about professional baseball. Just talking MLWB. You think of the Yankees, you think of a lot of great talent. Yeager was a Yankee for 2 years. He went to the World Series with them. Logan's been a Yankee for 2 years now. He's just a top player in the league. Chris was with them for a little bit. John Bond was a Yankee at one point. There's been a lot of great players to, play for the Yankees. Yet the Yankees have only finished with a winning record twice ever. And they've only made the World Series once. And we're coming up on season 11 now. The Yankees have been around for a while. And if they're not going to be good now, how long is it going to take for the Yankees to, get back to the World Series? Because they lose to the Dodgers in season 7 in the World Series. They have not been back since. Missed the playoffs in season 8. Lost in the ALDS season 9. Lost in the ALCS in season 10. So right now the Yankees are definitely in a tough spot. And, if it depends how you look at it. If you're Logan, by the way we look at it and we say, well, they must be, restructuring their team and rebuilding for a few years from now. But I don't know. It's tough in this league to do that because you can't look a year in the future and say, oh, well, this guy's going to be in the draft next year like you can in professional sports. We have no clue who's going to be drafted. Sometimes we don't know who's in the draft a month before.
Yeah.
So it's risky, but unless he's going to make a big move before opening day, I don't see the Yankees as a threat to you guys in the American League. And if I had to predict, of course, I'd say the Royals are making the playoffs. And if you and your brother are there, you guys are World Series contenders without a doubt. But if I'm Zach Kinsel, it would just worry me, you and your brother not always being here. You're here now full time. Not worried about you. More your brother not being here full time. But if he is, you guys are a great team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, there's, he'll be here, and we just, we're getting prepared to run the table now, and really just, just do what we got to do, get stuff done, and I gotta, I feel like me personally, one of these seasons I have to win a World Series ring. I came real close to it last year, only playing for the team in the World Series, but I had to. I feel like pretty soon I have to get my share again, and get my third. And I don't think there's really much of a better squad I'd rather be with the group I'm with now, and I feel like we probably have the best chances if I was with any other team. But yeah, no, I mean, I love our chances. I love the chances of Dill being here for the full season. And yeah, we've come up with some strategies on things that we're gonna do, how we're gonna do them, and and let's just hope that they all go to plan, pretty much.
I know you're not the team captain, but if you had to predict, what would the lineup be for Kansas City opening day?
Well, we talked about it, and it looks like Kinsel's gonna DH.
Okay.
And my brother's gonna pitch. I'm gonna play the field, and for the batting lineup, it's either gonna be me or Dill batting leadoff, and then vice versa, hitting 2 and Kinsel 3, unless we strategize and go to another plan where one of us bats third, Kinsel bats second, or he bats leadoff even. I think those are plans that will come to a closure in the midst of before the season starts. But right now, I mean, that's so far what we're looking at, and yeah, we're just looking at what's the best opportunities that we have, and what are the tools we can use for pretty much. We strategize each and every game and opponent. So how do we beat every opponent, and what we can do. So I mean, that's just how we look at it.
Yeah. It's going to be an exciting team to watch, and the thing about it is, with the DH rule, now if there's 2 teams of 3, you can agree to have 2 fielders in, but both teams have to agree to it. If one team says we don't want a fielder in, then that's it. There's just a DH. So it's a huge advantage for you guys, because not only is your brother one of the top pitchers in the league, you're one of the best fielders in the league, arguably the best defensive player in this league's history. So you guys are going to be scary if you and your brother are there for all 8 games. It's a great team, and like we said at the beginning of the episode, it's going to be tough because it's going to be near impossible for Zach to re-sign both you and Dylan. So it's kind of like going all in. You guys are all in one year. You take, he drafts you, he re-signs your brother. This is the year for the Royals. I feel like that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Like, if it's not this year, it's never. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Am I right?
Yeah, and I feel like whatever team comes in last and gets the first overall pick, that's where I'm heading. So, I mean, obviously for, especially those reasons, we're all trying to, we're going all in, and we're trying to do it this year and just come out on top. We have the tools to do it. We know we can do it. And the point is if we're going to execute or not.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting season. And then you got the National League. If you had to predict the 4 teams to make the playoffs right now, I feel like the favorites, a completely unbiased opinion, I think the 4 favorites to make the playoffs right now would be Dodgers, Marlins, Rays, Royals, in no order. Marlins have made the playoffs the last 2 years but haven't been able to get past the Pirates, but now with one less playoff team, we could see the Pirates on the outside looking in. Because the Pirates have been the 3 seed the last 2 years and beat the Marlins as a 2 seed, so we'll see. But if you had to predict, let's say, a super, super early World Series matchup, you can put your team in it or not, what would it be?
I got Dodgers out of the NL. I feel like they're a pretty lethal force.
Yeah, they're
coming out, and then it's hard because you want to say, especially me, even being biased, I want to say Royals, but also you can't count the Rays out. I mean, they won the World Series 2 years ago against the Dodgers, and then they were in the World Series last year. And when they're clicking, they're clicking, and when they're not clicking, they're still winning. So I mean, it's but when they're, the point is, if Eric is seeing a peach ball, you're done. And then when Yeager's on, which he's been on for the past 2 seasons, he hasn't really been off except for 1 inning, which happened in Game 5 last year.
Yeah.
I mean, so you really can't count them out. So, I'm going to kind of leave the AL blank on that. I feel like it's either going to be us or the Rays, but it's gonna come down to Game 3 in a series.
Yeah,
for sure. It's not going to be easy for either team.
Yeah,
but yeah,
for sure. It's just there's so many. There's not a lot of like, I don't know how to put this. There's not that many matchups this year, I feel like, that are that even. Like, in the NL, you have the Dodgers and Marlins, and the Pirates could be okay. The Nationals should be better, but they're not. I don't think they're gonna, I don't think they're gonna be a playoff team still. I still think it's gonna take a few more years for them. Then you have, in the AL, you have the Rays and Royals, and then the Astros, who could be solid, and then the Yankees, who aren't projected to be that good. So I don't want to say we know our playoff teams, but we can take a good guess. So it's going to be a fun season for sure. And we're only a few months away. Hopefully we can get some spring training games in next month. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.